Wednesday, July 12th. I can't believe it's Wednesday. The week has already gone away from me and is out of control. But you want to know what's really out of control? I want to share with you this video. I saw it this week and I'm still disturbed by it. Let me show it to you and then you can kind of form your own opinions as I gasp at this.
The first trans woman to have a successful uterus transplant, ovaries and eggs included.
Okay, so just backing it up for my dad who's confused by the trans language. This is a man, a biological male, who identifies as a woman, therefore is called a trans woman, who's saying he wants to get a uterus, including fallopian tubes and ovaries, implanted into his stomach. Just let's start there.
And I want to be the first trans woman to have an abortion.
So this person wants to figure out a way to put a uterus, ovaries, and a fallopian tube inside of him, which I don't even know where in the male body these things are going to go. I mean, like, I guess you just like move over the intestines and hope for the best. He's going to have them donated from somebody. And then he wants to go through all this pain to have an abortion.
I will let a doctor who has successfully transplanted a uterine complex before cut the organs out of a willing, healthy, transmasculine donor, place them in my body. I will devote myself, heart and soul, to their aftercare. I will have as much gay sex as it takes with as many trans women as it takes.
Wait. He wants to become a male whore, but just back it up. It wouldn't be gay sex, okay? Because this is a man who would then have to have sex with women. So he'd be having normal heterosexual sex, like the parts and how they go together. Oh my gosh, this is my life.
And let the transphobes and homophobes scratch their heads, wondering what to make of it. And I want to be the first trans woman to have an abortion.
This is 2023 America. There's so much to say about that. I mean, obviously, this person is mentally deranged. Obviously, the next time someone says there's no such thing as pro abortion people, all pro abortion people are just misguided and they're pro choice. No, this dude is 100% pro abortion. He wants to have a uterus, fallopian tubes, ovaries cut out of a healthy woman implanted in his stomach. I don't know where it goes once again, just so he can then engage in heterosexual sex to create a human being to then kill it. Would be called Evil, and if you've never seen Evil before, you just watched it. It's hard sometimes. You look at some of these videos and you think, okay, this person they can't be serious. And he kind of giggled at one point, but honestly, I can't say anymore if people are being facetious or they're totally serious because it's so crazy. It has gotten so out of touch and outside of bounds of normal reality that I actually have to take people at their face value when they say they want to implant ovaries and fallopian tubes and uterus inside of them, have as much sex as possible, and then kill a baby. I'm kind of taking their word for it. It's just absolutely sickening. All right. Okay, what else is sickening in the world today? Oh, let's talk about CNN. So Jim Acosta does an interview with Bob Vanderplatz, who's head of the Family Policy Council group in Iowa, the family leader. For the third time in like a month, there must have been some secret memo that Planned Parenthood and sent out to all the mainstream media, or the White House sent out to the mainstream media, because this is the third time in a month that a CNN reporter has gone on the air and has said to a Republican, to a pro-lifer, that they're lying that Democrats support late-term abortion. It happened at the Pence town hall. It happened at the Trump town hall. And it just happened the other night with Jim Acosta. And it's unbelievable because, like, one doesn't have to be a journalist to look up the actual platform of the Democratic National Committee, which calls for abortion whenever, wherever, and taxpayer funded. That would be abortion on 9 months. One does not have to be a journalist on CNN to look up the Women's Health Empowerment Act that every single Democrat, I think, except for like one, voted for multiple times under the leadership of Nancy Pelosi before Republicans took over the House this January, which would be what they call codify Roe, but actually goes further than Roe because it would say that abortion is legal in all 9 months for any reason and taxpayer funded throughout the United States. That's what the Democrats want to do. If they can't successfully assassinate Clarence Thomas or pack the Supreme Court, this is their backup plan, plan number 2. It's been like clear and it's all over the place. Yet when CNN talks to pro-lifers, they constantly say you're lying. I would love to be on CNN and have a reporter tell me I'm lying about this. Like, you could go to your phone and Google it yourself. Let me just play the video because I'm already mad here. I'm going to skip over a couple of things just to make it go a little faster for you because I'm already frustrated as hell.
Of abortion on demand until the time of birth, and the government subsidizes and pays for it. I believe what we want to do is have a champion for the culture, the sanctity of human life, and someone who can point out the differences in the experience
okay, I guess
today than ever. I think politically this is going to be on our right side as well.
But what you said is not true, correct? That America is becoming more pro-life. That's just not the case. If you look at the latest polling,
well, I believe
it shows over.
Okay, first of all, Jim Acosta, I don't know why this random music's in the background, but when you look at any polling when it comes to abortion or Roe versus Wade, and people are like, oh, majority of people supported Roe versus Wade, they're mad Roe versus Wade's gone. Yeah. Does the poll ask them a follow-up question to tell you what Roe versus Wade was? Because I can guarantee you that the majority of people don't know what Roe versus Wade was. Poll after poll after poll proves that. And when you tell people how extreme Roe versus Wade is, the majority flip their opinion on what was Roe versus Wade. Just FYI, I poll it every year with young people.
Americans disagree with the overturning of Roe versus Wade.
Where Americans really disagree is the extreme position of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and Governor Newsom of abortion on demand until the time of birth, and the government subsidizes and pays for it. I believe what we want to do is have a champion for the culture, the sanctity of human life, and someone who can point out the differences in the experience.
Bob, you and I've had lots of conversations with you. Democrats are not in favor of abortion right up until birth. That's not true.
Someone's going to have to tell Governor Newsom that, and I believe even President Biden that as well.
Yeah, he's true. Last time I checked, President Biden literally wrote a memo telling the House of Representatives to pass the Women's Health Empowerment Act, which will allow abortions up until the moment of birth. Gavin Newsom, they passed a bill in California that doesn't criminalize infanticide, allowing babies who are accidentally born during an abortion procedure who are living to be allowed to die, to kill them. So yeah, the Democrats are 100% for abortion whenever. And sadly, they have to be because they get their campaign funding and support from Planned Parenthood and the abortion lobby. That's one of the biggest lobbyists in Washington, D.C., and one of their biggest campaign donors. So even if an individual Democrat who's running for office doesn't like abortion in all 9 months, they have to support it. Unlike like the Republicans who are like, we're a big tent and you can have any of you want abortion and we'll accept you. Nancy Mace, which, by the way, I think is a losing strategy for Republicans. And we've proven that over and over again. Every time these moderate pro-choice Republicans try to run for office, they lose. And then somehow pro-lifers are blamed for their loss because we weren't going to vote for somebody who thinks killing babies is okay. But that's another story for another day. But the Democrats demand ideological purity on this issue. And to be honest, they're extremists, evil extremists, but their strategy's on point. All right, next. All right, so there's a big showdown happening in Washington, D.C. Senator Tommy Tuberville, who was like this famous coach from Alabama. I don't know, I'm like a sports person. But he has been holding up promotions in the military in the Department of Defense until the Department of Defense stops paying for the abortions and the travel for abortions for military members and their families. kind of makes sense because the military is supposed to protect people, not pay for them to kill their children, right? So people are getting really mad. This has been happening for months, and like the top echelon of like the generals and in the different branches of service are like getting pissed off because they're losing money. Like when you're in the government, when I worked in the government, when you like get promotions, every promotion's tied to a certain amount of money. So like people are like losing out on money, and in Bidenomics, when price of food is still insane. I paid $12 for my husband's bacon cheeseburger today at Five Guys. $12, people. It kind of matters. So anyway, so the pressure's on because this one senator who's amazing has been stalling all of these things to convince the DoD to drop their support of abortion. And sadly, the Department of Defense and the ideologues who now run the Department of Defense, which by the way, like, I just need you to protect my children and my children's children from like China and invading our country. I don't really need you to be like abortion lobby activists, but apparently people running the DoD think that they're, part of the abortion lobby. So they are literally killing some babies and paying for the transportation of mothers who want to kill their babies over doing the right thing and making sure their own military officers are being promoted. I mean, we all know the Department of Defense's priorities are messed up because look at all the transgender ads and the trans military members and like, meanwhile, like China came out this weekend. There was a story this weekend about China this summer is putting their kindergartners through camp to learn how to hold knives and guns because the Communist Chinese Party, the CCP, evil incarnate, has made it a mandate throughout the country that they need to have military readiness amongst young people. Who do you think they're going to fight when these kindergartners become 18 to 20 years old? I'm still going to be alive. It kind of makes me a little freaked out that this is what our DOD is caring about rather than, like, I don't know, preparing our military and making sure we're growing our military to protect ourselves against foreign invaders. This is one of the reasons I'm moving to the hills and the mountains of Idaho. Good luck, China. Come and get me. Okay. I need to have some good stories in these pro-life gen news lives because today, this is what happens when I don't come live for 3 days. It's like all the bad stories in one. I promise I'm going to try to find a happy story. Okay, so Minnesota Planned Parenthood entices young teens as young as 13. So this is 13 to 15-year-olds with a sex summer camp, and they were giving kids $150 if they finish the program. $150 to go to Planned Parenthood summer camp about sex ed. Planned Parenthood, by the way, profits off of risky sexual behavior in young kids, right? They profit off of every STD test you get. If they perform the treatment and do the treatment, they make money off that. They make money off the birth control, the IUDs. IUDs actually make more money than birth control pills. They make money off of abortions. Having sex ed being taught by Planned Parenthood, I've said this again before, and I'll say this again, is like Philip Morris, like the head of the tobacco lobby, the big tobacco manufacturers teaching our kids how not to smoke and why they shouldn't smoke. Like, it doesn't make any sense because Planned Parenthood literally profits off of young kids having risky sex. And we know they profit. It's not like some nonprofit that's like doesn't have any money and is just doing a little bit of good. They like net over $150 million every year, like net, like, the gross income goes over the amount of their expenses. It's a $2 billion enterprise. So yeah, the program was called it was a 3-week Samore camp, science-based, medically accurate, open-minded, responsible sex education camp. Campers attend a half-day camp to learn sex ed in a brave, creative, and collaborative environment and take on a week-long responsibility to share information with their community. It was unbelievable, offering free lunches and a $150 gift card. And it's like I'm looking at the thing on Twitter. It was on Instagram. Yeah. Parents, keep your kids away from Planned Parenthood. They're targeting our young people in so many ways. All right, last article I'll share with you tonight. Okay, so the new Chicago mayor, the last one, Lori Lightfoot, was like a disaster. So they elected like another outrageous liberal Democrat because that's going to help anything. But Chicago's mayor has this new like blueprint out. Part of his blueprint is that it's so novel. He's going to charge pro-life sidewalk counselors with disorderly conduct. So if you're outside of a Planned Parenthood or abortion facility and you're telling women there's a nonviolent alternative down the street, free ultrasounds, like a place that doesn't profit off of your despair, you will be charged with disorderly conduct, and there'll be a fine of $500 for the first time, $2,000 per offense. Now, by the way, this is like, he also pledged, I think, free abortion pills in this thing. I don't know. I guess the city of Chicago is just going to be paying for abortion pills for women now. I mean, this guy's got a lot of problems. He has like a soft on crime agenda, and he previously supported defunding the police, and it's like, the murder capital, even though you can't get guns, but people keep getting illegal guns because somehow these laws don't deter bad guys from getting guns and shooting other bad guys. But that's not the problem in Chicago. The problem in Chicago is we need free abortion pills. And, those little old ladies or elderly men who are praying in front of abortion facilities or young students, they need to be arrested. Yeah. So this is blatantly unconstitutional. Somebody will get arrested. There'll be a lawsuit. The court in Illinois, who's packed with extremist liberals, they'll uphold it. We'll appeal to the Court of Appeals, probably go to the Supreme Court. There's already been multiple Supreme Court cases about this. Like, you can't create these like fake zones and say that pro-lifers don't have speech in certain zones or certain areas of your city. It's pretty outrageous. But sadly, this is just another legal obstacle that the pro-life movement is going to have to face now in this post-Roe era, where abortion activists, these extremists, are unleashed and unhinged, just like the guy we saw at the beginning in the video who wants to get a uterus and have heterosexual sex, not gay sex, and have an abortion. So that's the pro-life gen news for tonight. I'll be back later this week, maybe Friday, and give you some more updates. And I'm going to try to find a happy story.